Let's meet at the library. Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. Today we have our October retroactive wrap-up. I'm getting so close to being caught up, you guys. Like, you don't even understand how much of a relief that is. Wow. October wasn't a super crazy reading month for me. I read 3 physical books and I listened to 4 audiobooks, so kind of like an average / smaller month for me. But other than one book, I pretty much enjoyed everything I read, so let's dive into that. The first book I gave 2.5 stars. If you've watched my worst reads of 2019, you already know about it. It's The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Wow, is that shiny. This is a book that I really don't understand the hype around. It has no right to be this long and this boring. Like, the idea of it is so good. It basically sounds like X-Men meets the Diviners meets like, I don't know, like Peaky Blinders. Like, it's a cool setting. It's got a really cool idea of like gangs and like people with powers and like history and all that, but like the characters, y'all sucked. I could not name one character from this book that I'm like, oh, I love that character, they made it worth it for me. Like, no one. I had zero attachment. Esta, the main character, I just didn't get her. What are the guys? A D and a H. Dirk Harrigan. That's not his name, but it's close. Dolph Saunders and Darrigan Hart. Yeah, the fact that they both started with D meant that I could not keep them straight for 90% of this book. That is my curse. If you have 2 characters and you name them starting with the same first letter, I'm an idiot and I'll think they're the same person, or I'll constantly mix them up. Don't ask me why that is. It's just a fact. I don't know what to say other than this ain't it, Chief. Can't wait to unhaul it. Okay, next we're up at 3.5 stars. So, got that out of the way. These books were all pretty good. This was a leftover from Latinx-a-thon for me, The Grief Keeper by Alexandra Villasante. The idea of this story, whew, it's some powerful stuff. So basically our main character Marisol and her younger sister Gabby are illegal immigrants in America, and Marisol agrees to like partake in this experiment in which she receives like grief and trauma and negative emotions from war veterans, and so she like experiences those feelings for them, and she agrees to do this in order to stay in the United States. So it's dark, but it's powerful. I really liked the sister relationship. There's a female-female romance if you're into that, but it just something about the pacing of this book, it like made me care too late. Like, I always liked the characters, but like they hit me with the big feelings right at the end, and I wish that hadn't been a reveal. I wish that had just been something that I had known and like understood about the characters throughout the story. So that was my big reason for marking this down. But I mean, it was a really powerful story, and it's got like Spanish peppered in, which was great because I never practiced my Spanish, and so I was like, I know words. But yeah, if it sounds like something up your alley, I recommend it. It just wasn't like the book for me. Also around 3 stars, I have Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This is the author of Between Shades of Grey, which I guess is her more popular book, but I own this one. This is about, what ship is it? Oh yeah, the Wilhelm Gustloff. The Wilhelm Gustloff. That is a tongue twister. So this book takes place during World War II, and it's about the Wilhelm Gustloff. That's a ship that I said with a bad German accent. And it is a real ship that either not a lot of people know about or just I never learned about. But, you know, it was like a big old tragedy like the Titanic. Spoilers. But like way, way, way worse than the Titanic. Like way more people, and yet we don't know about this. So that's awkward. It was good. I grew to love like a lot of the characters, like the, what they call him, the shoe poet. Oh, what, just a sweet old man. Love him to pieces. And it has a pregnant character, which we all know is a trope that I like. What else? It had like a ship that I was kind of into, not like a ship that sunk, but like a character relationship that kind of grew on me. But honestly, and this is gonna sound dumb because it didn't have a happy ending, I almost think the ending was like too happy. I don't know, you guys. And the pacing for this one was just way off as well. Like, truly, the majority of this book is like, here we go traveling. Oh, we're meeting you. Join our group. Now we're meeting you. La la la. Which I like. I get we need time to like know these characters and get to understand who they are. But I don't know. For a book about a boat, not a lot of it was spent on a boat. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, again, not a perfect book for me, but if it sounds up your alley, you might enjoy it. The next book I don't own physically, but I gave it 4 stars. It was Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. Obviously, I read this for Victober. It was the only book I managed to read for Victober. Womp womp. Oh no, that's not true. I read, which play? The Importance of Being Earnest, and I loved that, but I didn't finish the whole like collection of plays, so I didn't rate it. That's dumb. Earnest, a great play. Love it. Highly recommend. That's by Oscar Wilde. Sorry, back to what I'm talking about. Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell is a classic Victorian novel about a girl named Molly and her dad gets remarried, and then she has a stepsister, and it's about this little family. And Molly, what a saving grace. Like, thank God she was the main character, because that girl was fantastic. I loved her, like, big Hufflepuff energy, you know? Her stepmom and her stepsister, honestly, I think we could have used a little more character development there. They were both pretty shallow and quite often very selfish, and that just wasn't doing it for me. But I was really rooting for one relationship for the whole book, and like while that came together and I was loving that, nobody told me that Elizabeth Gaskell died before finishing this novel, so I don't get to witness that wedding because she never wrote it. So I'm a little salty about that. I mean, she can't control when she died, but I was really looking forward to that, and it didn't happen. So that's cool. This is a really like niche recommendation, but if you like what's the first book called? 8 Cousins and Rose in Bloom by Louisa May Alcott, I think you would really like Wives and Daughters. I think they have a similar energy to them. Now that we are up in the 4-star range is when I start giving you my really nitpicky ratings. At 4.2 stars, we have Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emick and Stephen Evenson. Stephen Levinson. Oh my God. I was like, no way has his name been Stephen Evenson the whole time and I didn't notice, because it's not. Stephen Levinson, Benj Pasek, and Justin Paul. Woo! Okay. Honestly, in hindsight, this book is more like a 3 something. But it was built off a musical that I already enjoyed on its own, and the audiobook is so excellent. Like, it has like Zoe actually singing a couple of the songs, which I loved, as well as one of the voice actors being from the original Broadway show, so that's excellent. And I love that it gave us more background on Connor Murphy. That is my biggest issue with the musical, is like, I don't have any backstory on Connor, and you're just gonna be like, that boy killed himself, and I'm like, like, I need more information than that. So this book really built on that, which I think is why I appreciate it so much. But overall, I kind of hate Evan. Like, I'm sure people with like social anxiety and issues similar to that can probably relate to him, and that some people like him, but I just like, I can't stand the boy. I just want him to stop being the way he is. Like, I just really want him to be honest with people. I don't know. So it was pretty good. I recommend the audiobook if you're gonna give it a read. Next up at 4.6 stars, because always good, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Oh my god, you guys. So this was a journey. I have seen the movie, so like, I knew everything. I knew it was coming, but that did not hinder my enjoyment in the least. This book is fantastic. So if you don't know what Gone Girl's about, it's about a married couple, Nick and Amy goes missing, and everyone's like, must have been Nick. Nick's like, it wasn't me. And then we find out the truth. Ooh. Oh, it's so good. There were some parts where I'm like, oh, I get why you cut that out of the movie, like the weird like searching of the mall and like just things like that. But overall, wow, the character development in this book. Can you believe there were almost parts that made me like Nick? I know, I'm impressed too. Good job, Gillian. And Amy's character is just like a whirlwind, and I love her as a character. Like, she's fascinating to me. Yeah, this is a dang good book. Like, all the hype is real, and I can't argue that. So, very good book. Finally, we have a 5-star book, but no one is going to care about this because it's just so me. I read a nonfiction parenting book called It's Okay Not to Share by Heather Schumacher, and it was really great. I think anyone who has like a toddler or preschool age child in their life literally needs this book because it's amazing. It basically goes through like all these different like rules and things that have been said about dealing with children for so long, and it just debunks them. It's like, yeah, it's okay not to share. You know why? Because if you see one kid who's going, oh, you're not sharing with me, nah, 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 and you are like, Billy, you have to share, give her the train. Well, you just taught that girl who was whining that she can cry and whine to get what she wants, and that she can have what she wants the moment she wants it. And you taught Billy that what he wants isn't important, that his agency just doesn't matter, and that like you aren't going to side with him and like respect his wishes as a human. So it's like all these amazing things. So I mean, there's chapters about like sex ed and like being angry, playing physically, like roughhousing, just so many really interesting chapters. There are a few, admittedly, that I can't use at my job just because it's like we have licensing rules and some things wouldn't be appropriate, but I do think they'd be appropriate like in a household, more like the roughhousing stuff. But yeah, this book was so good. I mean, if you know someone who's like a parent and they've got like a 2 to 6 year old, give them that book. Give it to them. It's a really good read. All right, and that is it. Those are the 7 books that I read in October. Make sure to leave me a comment letting me know your thoughts about any of these. I would love to know what you guys were reading in October. I know it's like a ways back to think about, but there were so many fun readathons happening. Like Victober was going on, Spookathon, I think Thrillerathon had another, whatchamacallit, like round. Oh, October is just primo readathon season. So yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and you'll be seeing more of me soon. Bye!